is not very different, and we will just look to when there is a minority like the Israeli, which is a minority, of course. The Jewish were persecuted from all, not only the Middle East, as we know, from Europe, but from the Middle East as well. And whenever they do something to defend themselves, I mean, for instance, Amnesty International, which is an organization that I worked for, now I'm hearing that they are making a complaint against what they call the wall, which is basically a fence, but also a wall, but not against Hamas, but against Israel. Incredible. I mean, they are not blaming those who forced this. Obviously, it is an awful thing.
Yet Israel is, as a country, a nation, one of the nations who can defend itself most and best. And comparing the other minorities, I mean, the Christians in general, and the Syriac Aramean people in particular, we have no nation behind us. We have no one who can make our voice heard. And the Israelis, they have USA and West behind in some way. Arabs, they have the Arab nation. When an Arab minority are persecuted, when they want the Arabs, they are shouting loud. The Turkmens, for instance, Turkey are demanding, we want autonomy for the Turkmens in Iraq. Though they can say to the Turkmens, welcome back to Turkey if you want. But they don't say that. They demand autonomy for the Turkmens and so on. But the Christians and the Syriac Aramean people, Ronnie, no one says, those people, we want to help them. We will be their voice outside.
Yeah. Well, I think, and this can sound a little strange, but I think that we have been very bad in crying. Some people are better in crying out and getting the help they need. We will not mention any people, but we can see in the West who is crying the highest. This is one thing.
So you mean that shouting highest gets most?
Yeah, it's like babies, and the baby that scream, yeah. But also we don't do anything that shocks, like putting a belt of explosion and go somewhere and kill people.
We don't kill innocent people.
Exactly. So we are not shocking and we are not screaming. Those two things from our side, but from the European side, I think that they still have a problem with the history and the crusading time. First of all, if you put this word today in Europe, you will always get a negative feeling that it was a very bad thing and every European should be ashamed of it and stuff like that. From this side, and the Arabs, and especially the Muslims, they have learned how to win on this. So every time a European parliamentarian or organization or any European try to help the Christians in the Middle East, it's very easy for the Arabs and the Muslims to point out that, you see, the Crusaders are helping their own against us. This have made a problem in the head of every European organization. They don't want this stamp on them, and they end up helping the Muslims in those countries more than the Christians, even if, as we are saying now, the ones that are real victims are the Christians. But if they help them too much, it will look like, it's just because...
It will be a bad sight.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that was the past. We are living now in the third millennium, as I said, and people are discussing, and in Europe we are throwing the borders away. We say we will be international, we will be open society, and yet we have one issue that I am personally very much involved on. Is the issue of the genocide on the Syriac Aramean people in Turkey during the First World War. Last Tuesday we had a seminar in the European Parliament about this, and what we ask and we urge from the European Parliament is to put some pressure on Turkey to recognize this genocide. And still, we are, though we are small minority, and the Armenians are much more stronger than us, we can see that neither we or the Armenians has achieved a small thing.
This is probably.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that there was not. Well, to my recollection, there was even before during the First World War, already in 1912, there was a big genocide in what is presently Iraq of the Christian community. Apparently, this was when the term genocide was thought of, although it was applied for the first time to the Christian genocide of the First World War in Turkey, well, in the Ottoman territories, yes, empires. But no, I mean, actually, the Armenian genocide, actually there was a setback, because the last resolution we voted on Turkey, this was not voted for, the mention to the genocide, but it has been before. Some years before it has been, but I think it was last month this amendment did not go through. I remember very well. I voted for it because I was alerted that it was there, and this you should ask responsibilities to, especially to the leadership of both the political parties, main political parties in the European Parliament. The European Popular Party did go against it, and also did the Socialists. And there was a group of members, mainly socialists, actually, French socialists, but not only. I was one of the subscribers that wanted to put this there again in the text, but the leaders of these parties, they should explain. I think they are going in a very erroneous path regarding Turkey. I have to tell you very frankly that I might be shocking you, but I am in principle for the integration of Turkey as of several other areas of the Middle East in the European Union. But I am for this integration on the basis of real democracy, which means respect of minorities, respect of the truth, and of course of the past. And it's absolutely out of the question to think that you can integrate a country that decides to deny an obvious crime that was committed during the 20th century. I mean, one of the main questions of democracy in Portugal was exactly for the Portuguese society to come to terms with the reality that actually massacres were done during our colonial period in Africa. Although at the same time we also understood, and this was one of the discussions, and of course it relates to everything we are seeing, that actually the way that the decolonization was done was really not very intelligent, because much worse happened after we just left, which is also true, and some of the people refuses to see that out of the same sort of guilt complex, which is stupid. I mean,
yes, but
one should see the reality.
Yes, but countries like Portugal and other countries in Europe during their colonial time, they have made damage, of course, to the origin people over there, but in those countries. But we can see also that in the other way, they help people. They didn't only oppress them, they helped them in the same way. And we can see in several countries that there are now a flourishing, well-developing countries. But in Middle East, for the Christian people, we can see the same if we will compare it with each other in the similar things, that we can't see such development. Why can't the Christians in Middle East in general came in favor for No, that they will be regarded in the same way if you